So, in the book, right before the robberies, you're hanging out with Lash and Tony a lot. Suddenly, you're not hanging out with Lash and Tony, and there was no explanation of how Fran came back into your life and all those guys, and suddenly you weren't working out with Lash. And so, what happened there exactly?
I'm not quite sure exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, right before.
I know after.
It seems like Lash, you were working out with Lash and Tony all the time, getting yourself big.
Yeah.
And then but suddenly you're hanging out with Fran again, and the Wendy's Robbers comes up. And I was wondering, where was your brother that you didn't talk to him and maybe not get you back on that path?
At that point in time, I know exactly what you're talking about. After my brother and I stayed in apartments together, after I moved out from my brother at that time, we still was in contact with each other, but we weren't living in the same apartments together.
So the moving out just
yeah, that's when I started pretty much.
Okay, it wasn't as clear.
That's when life started pretty much changing as far as me start hanging out with a group of guys opposed to hanging with my brother and whatnot. And I think that's where, just not having that direction, maybe that's where I swayed that a little bit.
Okay. You kind of skipped over GWF a lot in the book.
Yeah.
But there was an angle in GWF that, once reading the book, made me go, that especially because of what you were willing to do to talk about Teller, that you wouldn't put up bullshit. But you were willing to do this angle, and so was Lash, where your sister runs down to the ring and says, Mom just had a stroke, and then you come out and say, we're doing this for your mom. So mentally, and just because, the only other person who ever did anything where it's like that's so attached to it emotionally and it was years apart was Big Show. So in terms of agreeing to doing it and the fact that it didn't really go anywhere either.
Well, the thing is, it's wrestling. Some things go somewhere, some things don't.
But you agreeing to that, such a heavy thing.
It's wrestling. It's just like a movie. You get the script, you go with it.
So because there wasn't money involved, you were willing to...
There was no money involved.
So as long as you were getting paid, you were just...
There was no monetarily gain. No one actually sent money in. And we didn't benefit from it at all. It was
So you treated it like an acting job at that point.
That's what wrestling is. I've always looked at it like that. It's never been
from
real.
Day one.
It's never. Even when I was a kid.
So Booker T, the wrestler, was never you.
Even when I was a kid watching it, I never looked at it like it was real. It's
So
always
in your mind was.
It's always.
Even though you have the same name, since your brother's Stevie Ray, you're not Booker T, basically, right? In terms of a character mentality.
Not when I'm at home.
Right.
I'm only Booker T.
When you're wrestling.
When I'm on stage.
Okay. Where's Brandon these days? Are you still in touch with him?
He's in Houston. Actually, he's close by. We're trying to build our relationship.
So you did have a falling out?
Definitely. But that's
being on the road so often.
That had a lot to do with it. And, that probably will come in book too.
Okay.
As far as where
have you shown interest at all?
No, not really.
That's pretty much all I got, but thank you. Much appreciated.